ever wonder what goes on behind the brains of an animated series? What's up? I'm Ashley Bornancin with the Red Carpet Report, and today we get to catch up with the creator and a castmate of a new Disney series called The Wander Over Yonder. You're going to want to check it out. So we're with April, who plays our favorite Sylvia in Wander Over Yonder. Can you just explain your character for us?
Oh, wow. Well, she's not really a horse. I used to refer to her as a horse, but she's actually called as Bornak, which is her, actually, that's a nod to the Golden Girls, because B. Arthur played Dorothy's Bornak, so I think that's a little inside,
Right.
But she's a kind of a horse, I guess, but she walks on 2 feet. You can ride her like a horse, but she speaks fluently, and she knows mixed martial arts. But she's absolutely Wander's protector and loves him, and they're best friends, and it's a great character.
How do you think Sylvia feels about Wander?
Oh, she loves him. She's watching out from she's like a big sister kind of. She's watching out for him all the time. And, he's very naive and, only sees the good in things. And that can be dangerous sometimes. So she's always on guard and ready to protect him.
Are we ever going to see, Sylvia get mad at times or different emotions?
Oh, yes. Sylvia gets mad a lot. She doesn't talk it out as much as she likes to duke it out, but she's got a real soft side too, and she has some interesting arcs over the season that are fun to watch.
What's one of your favorite scenarios that might be coming up between them?
I don't know how much I can say, but my favorite episode that I've seen so far, and I haven't seen very much, is mostly the stuff that I get to see is just kind of in pencil and not ready to be shown yet. But my favorite episode so far involves a giant, oversized toddler in a shopping mall. And I don't know if I can say much more than that, but that's my favorite one so far.
So how do you get into the process of this all? Did you get to see your character before you created her voice, or what was that like?
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you'll go in and, like, when I did Miss Finster on Recess. And when I went...
Great show.
I love that show.
I love the
That was a great show. Oh, the Ashleys are great. But when I went in to read for that, there was a drawing of her on the wall, and she was very jowly. So I started to think, well, what would it sound like if you're jowly and you make a lot of noise with your jowl, your flaps, like. And so that the voice kind of came out of that. Sometimes you don't see a character. Sometimes they don't even have a drawing yet. I did see a drawing for Sylvia. It didn't really influence the sound so much, but if you look at her posture, and she's really ready and on guard all the time, and that kind of informed some of the choices that I made vocally.
And are you in the studio at the same time, or are you talking to a video while you're doing your voiceover?
No, so a lot of people think that you do the voice to the art, that the art's already finished and you go in and you fill it in. But that doesn't really happen, because if you did it that way, you would be stuck to the timing of whoever created the artwork, and maybe you come up with something different, or an ad lib, or your speech pattern is a little different. So you do that first, and then sometimes you'll come in and do something called ADR, which is automated dialogue replacement, and that happens when you get the footage back and something's missing, or they've added a mouth flap for some reason, or there's a character that's kind of forward, that's moving, that needs to have some life. Mm-hmm. So that, that's it. You come in at different times. In terms of working as a cast, I've been fortunate enough to do that a few times, but people have different schedules, and if you have to do it in pieces, sometimes that happens too.
What do you think is your favorite part of Wander Over Yonder? Obviously, you've been doing this for a really long time. What makes this show different than every other show you've done?
I like to say that it's very difficult to be funny without being mean. Most jokes are really at someone else's expense. And I think that there's a place for, snarky humor, and, I enjoy it from time to time. But there's something about this show that manages to be funny and sweet and positive all at the same time. And I just think that that's a really special thing. It's very different than a lot of stuff you see on TV right now. And I think the time is right for it. And it's funny. Yeah. If it were just positive, I wouldn't be as excited. But it's funny and positive and sweet, and their relationship is wonderful, and I just love it. It's a great show.
And Craig kept talking about how it's going back to kind of the classic cartoons like Bugs Bunny, and following a rhythmic beat. Would you agree with that? Would you say that that's also what makes it different?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first saw the artwork, I was struck by how nostalgic it was for me because I grew up watching cartoons in the 70s, and the palette is very, can be a little psychedelic, and the characters, the shading, the shapes are very, it's very, it's a throwback kind of a cartoon, both in its attitude and in the way that it looks. And yeah, I think it reminds me of cartoons I saw when I was younger. It has like a little it's got like a yellow submarine and Looney Tunes and reminds me a little bit of Augie Doggy and like the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And Craig, worked at Hanna-Barbera, so that influence is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I love it. I really do.
And, Craig was saying, and a lot of the other animators were saying, they're just obsessed with cartoons. Is that how you feel about cartoons?
That's hard to say. I certainly grew up watching them, and I grew up making them. I've been doing cartoons since I was a little kid. But my perspective from the beginning has been as an actor. So I never really got lost in it. You know what I mean? And my dad did cartoons, so I would watch cartoons on Saturday morning, and I would watch my dad doing voices. And the suspension of disbelief was never there. It was always just a craft. So I enjoy them from a completely different perspective. It's like a family business.
From the artist. That makes sense. That's really cool. Well, we're excited for the show. Yeah?
Yeah, I really am.
Do you watch it with your whole family?
I have only seen the one episode, so far, and we were all at we were at a little gathering, and it was really fun, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it with everyone. And we had a little sneak peek today, and this is the first time I've seen her really talking.
Really?
Because the preview episode, I'm in the bathroom the whole time. So
Oh my God.
Not me personally, but Sylvia
Yeah.
was in the bathroom the whole time. So this was like the most dialogue I've gotten to see, and it's really exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well, thank
fun.
you so much,
Yeah, my
April.
pleasure.
We're
Thank
excited. Thanks for watching the Red Carpet Report. If you like this interview, be sure to like it, and for more interviews, subscribe. I'm going to try to learn how to draw. Maybe not.